Good listeners listen to what people say, and deep listeners listen to what people don't say. They notice what's absent in the conversation rather than what's present. And good listeners listen during the conversation. Deep listeners listen before, during, and after the conversation. Good listeners listen for similarities. They listen for the familiar. Deep listeners listen for differences and the unusual. When it comes to deep listening, if you know the three numbers, if you know these three numbers, you're ahead of 98% of workplace listening professionals. These three numbers, 125, 400, and 900, if you know these numbers, you understand why it's more important to listen to what's not said rather than it is to listen to what is said. And honestly, who cares about listening? The impact of listening to what's not said reduces sales cycles, keeps great staff in your organization, shortens meetings, increases profitability, and ultimately puts you ahead of your competition. So those three numbers, 125, 400, 900.
I did memorize those numbers just in case you were quizzing me.
I won't quiz you. 125 is the average workplace speaking speed per minute, okay? 125 words per minute is your speaking speed on average. If you're a real estate agent, a cattle yard auctioneer, a horse race caller, you're speaking at about 200 words per minute. So right now, if you're listening to me on a podcast app or on YouTube, you're probably listening at 1.5 speed, 2 times speed, because you can still have complete comprehension at a faster speed. That's because you can listen at 400 words per minute and have complete comprehension.
I usually go 1.8.
1.8? Awesome. And of these three numbers, the most important is 900. 900 is the average thinking speed. Now, this is very important when it comes to the speaker. If a speaker can think at 900 words per minute, yet they can only speak at 125 words per minute, it means the first thing they say is 14% of what they mean. And if you're in a briefing call, you're in a sales call, you're in a project meeting with a client, another employee, if all you do is listen to the first thing they say and start having a conversation about that, you're having a conversation with 14% of what they think. And as a result, you're going to have a lot of confusion, chaos, conflict, frustration, rework, or even worse, you may win a client, but you've heard the wrong thing. And as a result, when you get into implementation, they say, no, that's not what I explained. And all of a sudden you've got yourself an unprofitable project. I'm sure that's never happened to you, David.
That's happened a lot in our industry. And, we were talking before we started recording, Oscar has similarity in the ERP space like I do. And there's plenty of times where I'll be at a call with one of my sales reps and, we hear the customer say X, Y, and Z, and my sales rep be like, oh, great. So he's going to talk to the DPS to get a quote, our pro services team. And they'll be like, yeah, we need a quote on A, B, and C. And I'm like, no. Customer said they just need X, Y, and Z. No. They need A, B, and C. It's like, no, trust me, just do it. Because I like to think I'm a little bit more intuitive in the listening. Now, sometimes if I'm just brought in to the game late, I could be a little wrong. Okay. But if I'm there from the beginning, I usually get it right because I'm listening to what not only when you get into tech sales, it's hard because there's really two categories. There's sophisticated and unsophisticated customers. And unsophisticated doesn't mean they're dumb or anything like that. It just means this is the first time that they've gone through a buying process of something like this so complex, and they may not be able to express the right words for the pain points that they're feeling. And that's where I'm experienced enough to where I can kind of get the cues of what they mean. Does that make sense?